Hey there, CJA students. In this video today, you're going to learn how to use Quizizz and how to access it in order to review and practice certain skills and concepts that teachers want you to use digital flashcards for. So first thing you're going to want to do is log in. I have an account here that's pretty much like a student. So yours would obviously say your first and last name at cjacademy.org, but not Z test student. And when you get into your email, you'll notice that my email is nice and clean, hopefully yours as well, so that you can see, oh, I have an email from Mr. Mason. He wants me to do this Quizizz code for fractions, decimals, and percents. So I click it, and it says, hey, please join the following. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And when it asks you, it's going to ask you what your Quizizz name is. So I'm going to pretend I'm not the teacher here. I'm going to pretend I am this student called Z test student. It's always important to put your first and last name when you're doing the quizzes, just so that way when your teacher reads the report, that you understand that they understand, that they've got the right person on there and they can give you credit for that. So always make sure to put your first and last name, and then you're going to start the game. You might have music and stuff like that. If you don't want the sound effects, if you don't want the music, you can turn that stuff off. Read aloud is kind of annoying, so I usually keep that off as well, but you start the game. And this one just tells you, hey, you're going to have a whole bunch of different themes that you can go to. I'm just going to go with classic theme. I'm going to start the game. It tells me when it's due, so I can play this as many times as I want to up until 6:30 p.m. on June 22nd. Now, the key with Quizizz, if I were you, is to have like a piece of paper right down next to your computer, so that when you get questions wrong, you can write that stuff down and review it. You'll be able to see the questions at the end, but if you want to review it in the moment, you can do that. This is all about kind of memorization. You might not get it the first time. It might take a couple of times. And so it's all about kind of reinforcing this idea of automaticity, that when you see something, you automatically know what it is. So we'll say 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So some of the things that we are playing for today are fractions, decimals, and percents. So we'll say, okay, I got 3/8. I got a picture that's 3/8. What fraction, decimal, and percent are equivalent to 3/8? I am lucky that I know that this is 0.375 and 37.5%, because that is something that I've memorized. You'll notice you get the green check if you get it correct, and you move on. So here we see that half of a circle is shaded, and it's asking you for 1/2. You ask yourself, all right, which one of these decimals and percents is equal to 1/2? You'll notice that there's this timer bar at the top. Don't worry, if that timer bar gets all the way to the end there, it does not mean that you can't answer the question. I'm going to go ahead and pick hopefully the correct answer here as 0.50 and 50%. You'll notice I'll get the check mark again. Now watch if I get 9/10 here and I do it incorrectly. Let's just say, because, oh, I see a 9 and a 1. All right, so I think, oh, 0.91. We all know that's incorrect. And I click that. It will not only tell me what the wrong answer is, but what the correct answer is as well. All right, so I'm going to show you what it looks like once you get to the end of this. Real quickly, you can do redemption questions, which is reattempting the question that you got wrong. You can choose one of these. I'm going to choose this one. And it'll say, oh, this is one of the ones that you got wrong earlier. Hopefully you remember, wait, that was the wrong answer. It's 0.9, 0.90, or 90% is 9/10, using kind of your mathematical number fluency there, and then you keep on. What you don't want to do with quizzes is do this thing that sometimes I see frustrated students do, which is once they get something wrong, say like, oh, I see a 5 and 8, so it must be 0.58. We know that's incorrect. They get frustrated, and because they get frustrated, all they start to do is just start randomly clicking. That shows up very easily in the report that teachers see at the end, right? Oh, 23.23, no, right? So what you want to do is really take your time, learn from your mistakes. And again, this might be something that it takes more than one time. You got to show persistence. That's what this is exactly for. The first time you do anything in life, you're often not going to be able to do it perfect the first time. Beethoven didn't sit down at the piano and play out his first symphony very perfect the first time. Michael Jordan didn't pick up a basketball and was able to dunk the first time. This is stuff that takes practice, just like anything. And so especially when it comes to number sense, or maybe you're working on something with grammar or facts with history, these things take time for them to settle into your brain. And this is just a good way to review that, this kind of quick little information, to review it over and over. And so as we get to the end here, you'll notice I'm on question 26 and 26. Let's just say I'm bored, I get it wrong. This is the most important part of quizzes, not this redemption section. Let's just only do one of them for right now and say, oh, should have been that one, right? That's the last one I did. It's reviewing what you've gotten wrong, being like, okay, I got a 76 on that. And then looking at this and just being like, okay, let me play again. No, it's scrolling down and being like, okay, here are the things that I got wrong. Here are the things that I should be reviewing. Maybe these are the things that I'm writing down on my paper and reviewing to make sure that I actually know them before I play again. Because it's going to tell me all the stuff that I got right? But it's going to show me the stuff that I got incorrect first. And these are the problems that I want to say, okay, let me look at it like, oh, okay, I selected 0.01 and 1%. I should have selected 0.1. I got to remember that's in the 10th spot, 10th place, 1/10, 0.1, not 0.01, right? And you could do it just looking at it like this, right? You could do, go on and on and on. And look at all the ones. And then the idea is, yeah, go ahead and play again, right, until you try and get a 100. Now, let me show you what it looks like on the teacher end real quick. So here's my report for this Quizizz score. It tells me, okay, yeah, you got a 77%. It tells me the student that logged in. It will say your name if you're connected with the class, or say the name that you type in. If you're not connected with the class, I can click on and like I can see again the questions that you got wrong, how long it took you. I can email it to your parent if you want. So always try and do your best on this. Again, it's an easy way without you having to create flashcards. The flashcards are already created for you to kind of look at this stuff and help you memorize easy concepts. So best of luck using Quizizz this year, and always ask your teacher if you have any questions, and push yourself for that 100. Push yourself to become automatic at this stuff.